Alright, now the next thing that we've got to do, now that we've used the move brush to establish some form and really push and pull some clay, is we're going to look at another way that you can push and pull the clay. Right? Now, the move brush is great for these large scale changes. But it's not so good if you want to come in here and start to say push out an eyeball or really parse out the difference between the zygomatic bone, coming in there, and what's going to be happening in the infraorbital triangle and all the fat and everything that's happening in there. It's not really the best tool for that. So that's where we use something else. Now, this is also why we went slightly towards that theoretical side in a previous talk. You've got the standard brush. Okay, and this is the old school way. Let's put in the orbit of the eye. Okay, and then you smooth out. That's the way the standard brush works, is you sculpt and smooth. Okay, sculpt and smooth. It's as simple as that. Okay, sculpt. I'm pressing Alt right now. Okay, and Alt's important to know about. So let's talk about that real quick. If I just draw on the surface, all that's happening is it's pulling out towards me. As soon as you press Alt, it switches over here to Z sub. Okay, now I'm going to manually switch to Z sub. I am not pressing Alt. Now I'm going to manually switch back to Z add. And that's a really important thing to get here is you have the ability to push out, push in. Okay, and that's dictated by Z add or Z sub. Are you adding? Are you subtracting? Real simple. If you press Alt, okay, then it's simply going to go from one to the other, and then back and forth. Whichever one's selected, it'll go to the opposite. So, in terms of the standard brush, I'll press Alt, press Shift, Alt, Shift, Alt, Shift. Okay, and then in terms of when I want to carve in this mouth, I'll press Alt. But that's getting ahead of the game. Okay, because one of the things that you'll see is that this brush is just not giving you the results that you would expect. And that's why the clay brush was developed. So let's come over here and select clay. Or let's select the brush I use most, which is clay buildup. That's going to be the brush that's really important to me. So we're there. Clay buildup. I'm going to add in a little form. I'll still press Shift to smooth. I'll still press Alt to push in. But this is just a nicer way to add form. And so here you go. Just adding away. Boom, boom, boom. Now see, this is much easier because it's like, as the dev team told me, it's like you just lay down a strip of clay. That's what it's doing. And then you lay down another strip of clay. Real simple. So, shift and smooth, shift and smooth. Okay, and then we're there. Shift and smooth. Okay. Decide, what do we want the glabella to do? How do we want that to interact? Okay, we're getting some cheeks there, but I need to make sure that the orbicularis oris, the mouth muscle, has some nice volume. Okay. And let's put in a little bit more volume. Just a little strip of clay. Make sure we've got some volume in there for what's going to be the lips. I'm going to stress that cheek. If you wanted to, you could start to indicate ears, but there are other ways to do this. And if at any point the sculpting just gets out of whack, you can always switch back to the move brush and say lift that chin, drop that, pull the nose out. Something along those lines. There we go. Yeah. And let's move the face plane back a little bit. I don't want it to be so far forward. Male, though, will have a bit of a sloping forehead. Okay, move the orbit of the eye back. Okay. I'm going to switch over to clay buildup. And there we go. Okay. Now, a lot more things to be doing to this. Let's just used my hotkey to switch over to the move brush. But the next thing I really want to do is to start to look at the knife tool. Okay, so we've used move, we've used clay, we've looked at the standard brush. Let's look at a knife. Okay, that's going to be the next tool we evaluate.